creators, my name's Sophia, and today I'm going to walk you through the Creator Tool coordinate system and how to lay out an effective experience. Our canvas in the Creator Tool is 1,000 pixels wide and 1,000 pixels tall. You can imagine it kind of like a graph with the origin right at the center, but the y-axis is going to be flipped. This might be a little counterintuitive, but it's actually right in line with most modern graphics programs. So you're going to have negative 500 at the top, 500 at the bottom, and on the x-axis, probably a little more like you're used to, negative 500 on the left and 500 on the right. When it comes to laying out your actual experience, there are going to be 4 key layers. In the back, you have your background, and then in 3 sections, top to bottom, you have your caption, your foreground elements, and then your controls at the bottom. You might sometimes hear these referred to as your user interface or UI. For the background, you can either create a large rectangle that covers the whole screen in any color you'd like. I do that all the time. Or, for a really simple way to get a beautiful background, you can go to one of our pre-made ones in the graphics library. You'll find that on the left. And you can drag in any image you want and it'll automatically scale to the background size and go in the back of all of your elements. Once that's complete, it's time to add your caption. If you go to the Create menu at the top and hit Create Top Text, it'll create a box that's 900 pixels wide and 140 pixels tall. You want to have at most 3 lines of text in there. That isn't a lot, but really what you want to do is narrow things down so that students will read it, which they often don't do, and stay engaged. All you need to communicate is what to do and why they're doing it. As long as you've got that there, the students should be able to learn the rest through interaction and play. Next, my favorite part is adding the foreground elements. You have tons of options for this. You could add elements from our pre-built graphics library, or you can import your own SVGs, insert things from the Create menu like draw boards or arrows, or even use our primitive shapes like rectangles, circles, lines, whatever makes sense to you. With foreground elements, it's really important to keep things big, saturated, and clear. In my example here, my experience is about a boat. So what's going to be front and center? A boat. I'd love to add a dolphin and a bird and a scuba diver, but that's just going to confuse students, so you really want to keep it down to the bare essentials in your foreground. Something that can help if things are looking a little muddy is to make sure that your background's kind of desaturated and the foreground elements are saturated. That creates some contrast and helps students differentiate between what's just there for context and what's the really important thing they're interacting with. Lastly is the controls. Controls can be accessed in the Create menu at the top. We have sliders, buttons, switches, and you can even create your own if there's something that's missing from that you want in your experience. Controls should be in the bottom 200 pixels of your frame. That might not feel like a lot of space, but you really want students focusing on what's important. And what's important isn't the beautiful slider you crafted. Make sure all the text on your controls is readable and pick colors that complement your design. Once your UI is in place, you're ready to start coding. Awesome job. I'm really excited to see what you create.